attending tonight, and congratulations to our new inductees. I'd like to also thank Dr. Jeannie Karen Sinkfield and Rex Sinkfield, who make events like this possible, and I want to recognize the staff of the World Chess Hall of Fame, who make really wonderful exhibitions come to life. Right now, oh yeah. Right now, if you have time, we have 3 exciting exhibits on display. The first, Charles Hauska, Master of Play, highlights the work of a St. Louis artist, and he created some chess-related artwork especially for this show. The second one, Reading Between the Lines, highlights how authors and poets have integrated the game into their work. And the third one is Chess Variants, and that features a variant invented by a US champion who's here tonight, S-Chess, as well as Star Chess, invented by Laszlo Polgar. In addition to creating exhibitions like these, the World Chess Hall of Fame is proud to celebrate the legacies of those individuals whose contributions have changed the game. This year, FIDE has selected 3 candidates for induction to the World Chess Hall of Fame, and FIDE Vice President Michael Kordakovsky will conduct tonight's World Chess Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Welcome.
Thank you, Emily. It is my great pleasure to introduce 3 inductees for the World Chess Hall of Fame. They were nominated by historic FIDE committee and approved by FIDE Council. And one of my roles is to make it quickly and honorably to present these distinguished members of World Chess community. The first one is Pia Cramling, Grandmaster from Sweden, who actually was dominating women's chess world for 2 decades, and if it wouldn't be Soviet school in Georgia, then she probably would become world women's champion. But because of this strong competition, she was the only Western female player at the time who actually fought against Soviet dominance in women's chess. And she won many tournaments. She also was one of 5 female players who earned Grandmaster title at the time. And she also played several World Chess Olympiads in women's section and open section. And she earned many good results as well. And on behalf of FIDE, I would like to induct Pia Cramling. Actually, Grandmaster Pia Cramling sent us a video, so I will step aside when this video will be played. Thank you.
I'm sorry I cannot be with you today, but I'd like to send some words of appreciation for this very special moment. First, I'd like to thank the World Chess Hall of Fame for working so hard to keep chess history, chess culture, to make it available to all of us. I am honored, I'm very happy to be invited to exclusive historical chess family. It feels like my chess passion during the years has been rewarded in the most beautiful and amazing way. I'd like to thank FIDE for nominating me to the World Chess Hall of Fame and for their support for female chess. It has never been easy to be a woman in the chess world, but lots of things has been improved on, and it is much easier now than when I was young, even though there is a way to go. I'd like to thank Rex and Jan Timman for their enormous effort to make St. Louis the chess mecca it has become. I've heard so much about it. I always love to come there. And finally this summer, together with Anna, we visited St. Louis. We went to see the World Chess Hall of Fame exhibition. We went to the amazing chess club in St. Louis. And I realized why so many chess players, why so many extremely strong chess players have decided to have St. Louis as their hometown. I myself have also had some chess mecca during the years. It has been tournaments I have come back to year after year, during a decade, sometimes during 2 decades. Galveston, where Arnold Akram was working very hard to organize international chess tournaments on a mountain in Norway, long before Magnus was born. In Biel, Switzerland, where Hans Suri, very kind and to my joy, persistent in inviting me to his grandmaster tournaments. Gibraltar, where Brian Callaghan and his team made a fantastic chess festival, incredibly strong and very female-friendly. A festival I never wanted to miss. When I was a kid, my brother, who is 4 years older than me, was my idol, my role model. When I was 10, he took me to the chess club. I didn't know anything, not even how to move the pieces. There, the founder of the club, Sven-Erik Pettersson, he sat down with me and he showed me the magic of chess. From the very first day, I was hooked. Some years later, when I was 13, I won my first school championship for boys and girls my age. When I went to the podium to receive my prize, a chess clock, I promised myself that in one way or another I will always play chess. I have kept my promise, and it became easier when I, some years later, met a Swedish grandmaster. He's one of the most optimistic people I encounter in my life, always with a smile. Now we have been traveling for 40 years to different tournaments, keeping our passion. Without Juan, I would never have been able to dedicate as much time to chess as I have done. Thanks to him and to his support, I, 1992, became a grandmaster, the most important in my life, a historical moment for me, and what has been my most important goal. 2002, our daughter Anna was born. All of a sudden, chess was not the most important to me any longer. Becoming a mother, I found the happiness to keep on playing chess, keep on competing. And then in my 40s, my 50s, I made some of my best results in the most important female championships. Achievements I do hope can inspire other women to keep on playing even when they are getting older. Anna not only gave me the strength, the joy to keep on playing, we have also some lovely memories together when we play in the national Swedish team with Juan as the captain. Anna also found her own way in chess to show how fun it can be, and became a content creator, a word I didn't even know before. There are some few more people that have been of great importance to me during the years, and I like to mention them. Håkan Åqvist, who was the team captain for the national teams, both teams, during a very long time. I always enjoyed myself, had a great confidence playing with him as a team captain. In 1990, he picked me up to play in the national team in the open class, and that was a dream to me. Jan Timman, who is doing so much for female chess, who has done so much for female chess. During almost 20 years, he has invited me to be a part of his team. Circle des Czechs de Monte Carlo. He has invited me to play in events in Monaco, even in the casino. Peter Lavas, the Swedish organizer, very creative, and who I know for 30 years, and who organize a lot of different events, very unusual events, and always with his heart. And of course, I'd like to thank my family, my father, who supported my brother and me from the very start, and who has given me wise advices I would not have managed without. My brother Don, who was the kindest brother I could have. My mother, who was the most warm-hearted person in my life. Not an inch competitive, but always with a smile, whatever my results were. There are many other people I would like to thank who have come across my life in chess, who helped me, who have supported me. You are in my heart. I will not have time to mention you, but my life would not have been the same without you. I could never imagine that chess would go through this journey to become amazingly popular like it is today. I would never imagine that chess would give me so much joy and happiness through the years. I met all these wonderful people sharing their life, sharing their passion and love for chess in their way. I have got very good friends, a lovely family. 32 pieces, a chessboard. It creates miracle, and it's all what it needed. Thank you all very much.
So the next inductee, regretfully, passed away this year. It's Grandmaster from Czech Republic, Vlastimil Hort. When he was nominated, he was alive, and he was informed, he was already ill, but he was informed that he was nominated and will be inducted later this year. Unfortunately, he passed a couple of months after the nomination, and again, on behalf of FIDE, posthumously, I would like to induct him to the World Chess Hall of Fame. And a little bit about his career. Again, in 60s and 70s, the domination of the Soviet players was tremendous and significant, and he was one of the few grandmasters who played on a high level. And in 1976, he qualified for the candidates tournament from the tournament in 1976 in Manila, in the Philippines. Vlastimil Hort was six-time national champion of the Czechoslovakia, and three times national champion of Germany, because he immigrated from the socialist Czechoslovakia to Germany and lived there for quite a while. And after collapse of the Soviet Union and Warsaw Bloc, he was traveling back and forth, and he certainly was returning to Prague, to his loved city. And he also was a great chess entertainer. He was commentating, he was writing books, and he was exceptional exhibitor. He played enormous number of simultaneous exhibitions, and his record was 600 boards that he played against in simultaneous exhibition. So I don't think anybody actually beat his record, but this is something, it was on his belt. So on behalf of FIDE, I induct Grandmaster Vlastimil Hort from Czechoslovakia and Germany. And last but not least, the third inductee, another great Western player, Western grandmaster, who was also in competition against Soviet elite players, as Jan Timman, who also played on the Dutch team and was contender for the World Championship title. He played in candidates tournament and matches. And in 1993, at the time when Hungarian Nigel Short decided to move out of FIDE and play match independently of FIDE for the World Championship title, Timman played Karpov and lost in that match. So after that, he continued to play in the Olympiads and many tournaments. He often played at Vikings, one of his favorite tournaments at his homeland, and also wrote many books. And he still is a great composer, chess composer, who created many interesting puzzles and studies that many young players I encourage to solve them without using engine. So it would help you to learn about wisdom of the Grandmaster Jan Timman. On behalf of FIDE, I would like to induct him to the World Chess Hall of Fame. Thank you, and I would like to invite back Emily Almert. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. I'd now like to introduce Sunil Weeramantry, the Vice President of Scholastics for the U.S. Chess Trust and the liaison from the Trust to the Hall of Fame. Our thanks to our partner, the U.S. Chess Trust, which opened the first U.S. Chess Hall of Fame in 1988 and the World Chess Hall of Fame in 2001. Sunil will be conducting tonight's induction ceremony.
Thank you, Emily. As Emily said, the U.S. Chess Trust first opened in 1988. It was at the basement in New Windsor, and then several iterations later, going through Washington, D.C., and also Florida. It has now ended up in St. Louis. I just have one quick story I'd like to share about St. Louis. I was having a bite to eat with Rex Singfield at the old Kingside Diner, and he said, well, maybe we can have the Hall of Fame over there, and he pointed to the building across the street. The problem was that somebody was already occupying that building. But Rex said, oh, don't worry about that, and he just bought the building and had it gutted, and now we have this beautiful building, and we are all working very hard to make sure that the Halls of Fame will remain in St. Louis for a very, very long time. Thank you, Rex and Jeannie. I want to take this opportunity to thank you for everything you've done for chess. We have several trustees present. Before I go to the inductions, I'd like to recognize them. Beatrice Marinello is the president of the U.S. Chess Trust. Alex Kerford, the secretary of the U.S. Chess Trust. And last but not least, trustee Rex Singfield. I would also like to recognize, actually I should do this, recognize Steve Doyle, who in 2001 convinced FIDE to house the World Chess Hall of Fame in the same location. So now we have the two Halls of Fame, the US Chess Hall of Fame and the World Chess Hall of Fame. So, thank you. The first inductee tonight is Grandmaster Irina Krush. That's right, Grandmaster. Not women's Grandmaster, but Grandmaster Irina Krush, yes. And I first met Irina when she came over from the Soviet Union as a 6 or 7-year-old, played in the Greater New York Scholastics and beat up all my students. So I learned the hard way. I have to say that Irina is the only recipient of the Cairns Chess Queens Award. I know there will be more recipients in the future, but for the moment, I want to recognize Irina as the one and only recipient of the Cairns Chess Queens Award. Irina has represented the United States in international competitions from a very young age, and she has played 12 Olympiads altogether, winning 1 silver and 2 bronzes, I believe, and also has won 8 US championships. I was joking with Hikaru that he has to play a few more to catch up with you, Irina. So I should also say Irina has won the American Cup twice, which is a brand new tournament that was created and is very successful. Irina won it in 2022 and 2023. So by the authority vested in me, I'd like to induct Grandmaster Irina Krush to the US Chess Hall of Fame. Irina.
Thank you, Sunil, for this very nice introduction. Thank you to the U.S. Chess Trust for this honor, and it really is very nice for me to receive this award surrounded by my fellow players and my friends. I would like to thank my parents and my grandmother, who, with their love and support, planted the seeds for my success in life. And a special thanks to my father. Sorry, it's kind of emotional. Yeah, that was not the expected part. It wasn't supposed to go like this, but okay, here it is. So my father, who sacrificed his weekends and his weeknights and all of his vacation days to take me to tournaments when I was a kid. Yeah. Actually, Sunil, one of the nice photos I have as a child is me in the auditorium of the Hunter School, expectantly waiting for a trophy from you. So there's this kind of nice continuity of more than 30 years later, again, getting this award from Sunil. I wanted to thank the people who shared their knowledge with me. Definitely there were many people like that, but I want to point out the people who I've had the longest relationships with, my childhood trainer, Mikhail Trossman, who taught me from the age of 9 to my first US Women's Championship title, and later on, my coach, Georgi Kachiashvili, who helped me gain the Grandmaster title and many of my US championships. And I also want to thank the St. Louis Chess Club and Rex and Jeannie, because many of my career highlights and life highlights have taken place at this club in the wonderful conditions that you've created. So thank you very much. And finally, big thank you goes, I'm probably going to start crying again, to the game of chess, because it's hard to find one single thing in life that is going to give you so much and for so many years. It's not really an exhaustive list, but chess has given me my freedom, my purpose, my challenges, and all my close relationships. So that it's given me just a very strong foundation in life on which I've been able to build a lot more. And from a young age, I identified myself as a chess player. And that was another gift that chess gave me, that I always knew who I was and where I belonged. And, so many years later, I'm not sure that, I'm less excited about chess than I was when I was a kid. I'm still very happy to be here. In a way, I appreciate it more, because at this point, there's more of a runway behind you. You can look back and you see what place chess has in your life. So I'm looking forward to doing more, and hopefully will be able to contribute more to U.S. chess in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Irina, for those heartfelt words. And I have to say, from a personal perspective, you have undoubtedly transformed American women's chess. And there's a lot of exciting things to come, but you are the trailblazer, so thank you very much for everything. The second inductee is my good friend, Bruce Pandolfini. Bruce could not be here tonight. His daughter Sarah is going to speak on his behalf. I just have to say, I know I have something here on Bruce, but Bruce is one of the kindest, most supportive people I know in a field that can often be very competitive. That is the field of chess teaching. And he was always incredibly kind to me. And when I approached him with writing the preface to my very first book, he more than gladly did it. And a few months ago, he actually spoke at my retirement dinner at the Harvard Club. So, I feel honored that he took the time to do that. So, a few words about Bruce. Bruce became prominent during the Fischer-Spassky match when he was an analyst during the Shelby Lyman show. And shortly thereafter, he became a chess teacher and a very sought-after chess teacher in New York City. He has affected every aspect of American chess culture because he is an author as well as in various media. For example, he was the inspiration for the book Searching for Bobby Fischer, which then became a movie, and his role was played by Ben Kingsley. I used to joke with Bruce and say, from Pandolfini to Gandhi, it rhymed. But yes, Bruce really wanted to be here today, but he wasn't well enough to travel. And I just want to say that I wish he'd been here. I certainly miss him, but let me first induct Bruce. So by the authority vested in me, I induct National Master Bruce Pandolfini into the U.S. Chess Hall of Fame. Sarah, would you please come up? Ladies and gentlemen, Sarah Pandolfini.
I'm going to be reading from my phone, so apologies for looking down. Okay, now I'm Bruce. Thank you for this honor. I am most grateful. It's been a difficult year. Prolonged cancer treatments and the painful loss of my wife, Rosalind, have hit quite hard. I wish she could be here with our daughter, Sarah, sharing this special occasion. For 53 years, I have made a living doing something I love. Yet I didn't discover chess until I was almost 14. That's when I stumbled upon the chess section in a local Brooklyn library, not far from where Bobby Fischer lived. In Greenwich Village, I soon found Washington Square Park in the famous Marshall Chess Club, where a coterie of juniors honed their skills inspired by Fischer's exploits. I loved chess, but didn't think I had a future in playing the game. None of us were Bobby Fischer, and making a living in chess seemed hopeless. Even so, I had no idea how vital chess would become for me and the world in the years ahead. To be sure, I did not plan on being a chess teacher. I was an undistinguished chess master when I dropped out of graduate school. I knew I wouldn't be a chemist or an engineer. If anything, I wanted to be a poet. After a year of producing sophomoric poetry, reality set in. There followed a series of odd jobs to pay the rent. Eventually, I found myself working at a bookstore. One day, while I was behind the register, a man placed a batch of chess books on the counter for purchase. I got excited and started talking about the titles. After 2 minutes of enthusiastic chess and book talk, I rang up the sale and he left. 2 days later, again behind the counter, I got a call. It was from the same man. It turned out he was a producer for WNET. The network was about to cover the upcoming Fischer-Spassky match. The producer liked what I had said in those 2 minutes at the bookstore counter. He asked if I'd consider being an analyst assisting Shelby Lyman, the chief commentator for the PBS program. Of course, for no pay. That day, I quit my job at the Strand to become Shelby's unpaid assistant. I did it on impulse. Who knew the coverage would be viewed by millions across America? Since then, beginning with the wellspring of that show, I've had enormous occasions to spread the gospel of the game. There were sessions in public and private schools, exhibitions and presentations in clubs, and various emporia. Even courses for college credit, such as the new school starting in 1973. Possibly most worthy was co-founding what would become Chess in the Schools in 1986. I had long felt chess was a perfect subject to be introduced into New York's public schools, but the Board of Education had critical thinking experts who objected. With the Manhattan Chess Club at Carnegie Hall as our backup, Fan Adams and I eventually were able to show the value of chess as a thinking tool. After 40 years, this worthwhile program continues to encourage young people to play chess for fun and personal growth. Then there was writing about chess. There were columns such as ABCs of Chess for Chess Life, a monthly piece I produce, and my association with publishing houses, beginning with Charles Schreibner's and Sons in 1973. More than 30 books followed. There were consultancies in advertising and public relations, spokesperson appearances on radio and television, and even work in film, creating chess scenarios and training actors. In Paramount's 1993 movie, Searching for Bobby Fischer, based on Fred Waitson's acclaimed book, I had the honor of being portrayed by Sir Ben Kingsley. For the 2020 Netflix series, The Queen's Gambit, developed from the Walter Tevis novel of 1983, I created hundreds of positions and trained all of the actors, including Anya Taylor-Joy. My association with The Queen's Gambit began in 1982, when I was a hired gun for Random House working on the original manuscript. The final title was my suggestion, but overwhelmingly, my hours popularizing the game occurred in classrooms and private lessons. Not all of my pupils were children. Of course, nor was every student a Joel Benjamin, a Max DeLugie, a Josh Waitzkin, or a Fabiano Caruana. All kinds of people took chess lessons, from blue-collar adults to the rich and famous, to business and trade professionals who simply were intrigued by chess and wanted to improve their play. Often, in trying to understand how to help them, I learned something about me, or even something about life. What an amazing world to which I had been granted entree, thanks to Bobby Fischer, Shelby Lyman, and my favorite game. Chess is giving me incomparable moments of inspiration, beauty, and pleasure. For the past 53 years, while catering my teaching to individual needs, it has been my goal to share the joy with all of my students. Let me close by tweaking Krush. Chess, like love, like music, has the power to make us happy. It certainly does. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarah. You know, I couldn't think of 5 more deserving people to be inducted into the various halls of fame. Certainly Pia Cramling and Vlastimil Hort and Jan Timman. We could go on for hours about their contribution to chess, and you just got a sliver of it all. My good friend Irina Krush, I know your emotional involvement when I first heard about my induction and understood that this game had transformed my life so much, and now being recognized for it is such a special privilege. And Bruce Pandolfini, little known fact, Bruce Pandolfini was the one who actually got me hired for my very first chess job, which was as a coach of inner city kids in New York City. And that led to me coaching a team that became the Raging Rooks that won a national championship on the front page of the New York Times. That led to me being found out by one Bob Rice of the Wall Street Chess Club, which led to me being the commentator for the PCA Intel World Chess Grand Prix, which Garry Kasparov, sitting in front of us right now, was the one to initiate. So you never know who you're going to touch in this world of chess. Whatever we do with this magical game, it just transforms lives. And I have to say that Bruce took over when somebody came to me and said, would you mind coaching this young kid? His name is Fabiano Caruana, who happened to be going to the same after school as my daughter. And I said, Fabi who? Well, I'm not sure I have the time. Well, Bruce took it on, and that was a good decision. He was in good hands, clearly, as Fabi is who he is today. So thank you, Bruce. Thank you, Sarah. Your father has touched many, many lives. Thank you.